Rejection is required to achieve a level of success. And first of all, nobody loves being rejected. You just have to understand it's part of the process in sales. It's part of the process in growing a business. Rejection is required. So in a previous video, I talked about sort of how to ask for a sale. And when you get to that statement of how you've asked for a sale, have you seen enough to make a decision to move forward on my product or service, right? That's sort of the ask. When you get to that though, you're gonna get probably a yes or a no or an isolated objection. But understand that if you get no, that's not even the rejection just yet. And so many times people take that as rejection, right? They feel defeated or they close down their sales presentation. Well, okay, thank you. I saw a video recently of this played out live in front of a group, Grant Cardone. He was teaching people about this idea of how rejection happens in sales all the time. And so he asked somebody in the audience, he was like, would any of you let me call your business right now? Just live, I'm gonna call your business, and I'm gonna ask them about your product or service and see what the person answering the phone does. So he has this person on stage, he's got the cell phone in front, and there's hundreds of people listening to this. And he calls this gym. This is the question he asked. What's the most amount of money I can spend at your gym? And the person on the other line didn't even know how. Well, it depends on what kind of membership, how often you come. He's like, yeah, but what's the highest membership? What's the highest thing I can spend with you? So clearly not trained on how to do this. And he says, well, to do that, you're probably gonna have to come into the gym, take a look around, and all Grant says is, okay, thanks. And the guy hangs up and he stops. He's like, all I said was, okay, thanks. I didn't reject him, but yet he took it as rejection to the point of not moving forward on a sale and hung up the call. What we often do as salespeople is first, the problem with rejection is where we think the first time we hit a wall or not a lay down sale is that's the rejection, and it's not. Think about the last time you bought something or the last time you agreed to something. Did you always just say yes the whole way through? Or was there a no? Or was there let me think about it or not now? Often a no is just not right now. And so don't take that as rejection. Let's say though, you have moved through every objection, you have tried to close it and they just flat out aren't interested, go away, don't talk to me, that's fine. You have to understand in business, you're not gonna close everything. And so if you got into business thinking everyone's gonna buy your product because they love it as much as you do, you're living a dream. Just understand you're gonna have to have so many no's to get to the number of yeses that you want. And so just keep track of it. Just understand that's part of the game, right? You're not gonna hit the ball every time, you're gonna strike out. You can strike out 7 out of 10 times and still be a Hall of Fame baseball player. Think about that, 7 out of 10 times. That means you have a 300 batting average. So understand that in business, rejection is just part of the game, but you just can't let it stop you. And that is where I see salespeople and business owners struggles. They just get stopped by rejection. Rejection is required and it's just a lesson. So every time someone says no, and I remember when I would go to somebody's home and talk to them about putting their home on the market and selling their home, and I would do my ask. I would isolate objections, I would go over it. And sometimes after 4 or 5 attempts, they would just say, no, we're gonna go with somebody else. Before I would leave, I would ask this question. Okay, thank you for your decision. Can I ask you a question? I believe feedback will help me grow. I believe feedback is how I improve. Would you give me a couple minutes to just give me some feedback on why you chose not to go with me? Like, think about that. Think about that in every aspect of your life. If you're struggling in relationships and you're getting shot down all the time, like, find out why. Why? What's the reason? Friends, like, what is the reason? And so I just would ask flat out in this, why did you choose to go somewhere else? And sometimes they would say, and I remember one of the best pieces of advice I got, I had gone into a home, the husband showed me around, the wife was on her way out the door, so somehow I didn't lay down enough expectation that we were gonna sit down and discuss this. And so she showed me the house really quickly and then she left, right? And then I talked to him about all the things that we would do to help sell the house. And he said, well, I gotta talk to my wife. So of course I didn't have all the decision makers there. And when I called him back, he said, we're gonna go with somebody else. And I said, man, can I ask you why? And he said, yeah, my wife just didn't think you were very excited about selling our home. Like, that was it. That was that simple. I learned from that when somebody is showing me and walking me around, this is their home. This is like their biggest asset. I better have as much excitement and energy and focus and love the home as much as they do, or they don't have confidence in me that I can sell it. I would never have got that if I didn't ask in that moment of rejection what I could do to improve. Just understand that rejection is required to be successful. But each time you get a no, can you turn that into a lesson? It's either a loss or a lesson. It's up to you. If you found this helpful, then what I'd ask you to do is go through and audit the last no's that you received from a potential customer. Go back and ask them, hey, I know a month ago when I did my ask, I presented, you said no. Can I ask you why? What could I do to improve? Was it me? Is it the product? Is it the price? What is it? And see if you don't learn a couple of things that you can shift quickly to get less times rejected going forward. Again, if you found this helpful, like and subscribe or share this out with a friend. But I promise you, as you look at these potential losses as a lesson and learn what you can and get feedback from them and understand that some of that rejection is required to have success. But if you learn from these, you will find that you will get less of them going forward.